Bam.
Boom.
If you're watching, you just seen the new logo of the Boiler Express podcast.
Look at that beautiful logo. I paid
Made
to do
by
it.
your own Dylan Kuhn.
No, I didn't make it. I paid somebody to do it.
no,
I
you
made the first one, and look how that turned out. So then I
What's
was like, I'll pay a professional to do it this time.
that's always a good route. Always a good route. But I mean, you're a graphics guy. You've always done good stuff, so we would have trusted you.
Listen, I'm nowhere near the good graphics guys. I just have an iPad and Procreate, and I rig some stuff
You
up.
Procreate. Whoa. Okay.
I mean, look at that.
All right.
The logo
Oh,
on the
okay. Like,
iPad.
all right. Okay. Procreate sounded like something else to me, but
Well,
okay.
now that you say that, I probably will. Somehow I never even thought about that before. Get your mind out of the gutter, Russell. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. I need to get my mind out of the gutter.
You're turning into Chris.
Of everybody on this show. Yeah. That was a great start, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the new logo. Let us know. Give us some feedback in the comments.
If you don't like it, shut up.
If you don't like it, then don't send us anything. But obviously, as you can see, it's just me and Dylan tonight. The other guys had things going on. Damon, Frank, Chris. They might. I think Chris is the only one that might pop in.
Who needs them?
I don't think Frank or Damon will be with us tonight, but hopefully as the offseason starts to pick up some steam and we'll do some of these previews of games this fall, we'll get everybody in here. But tonight, it's just been like a month since we put something out, so I talked Dylan into coming in here, so I wasn't by myself to talk about the roster a little bit, talk about the depth chart. Obviously, we're post the spring portal, so if we see any guys leave at this point, they're not going to be playing for anybody else. So it seems like we've got the guys in the room, or the freshmen coming in this summer that are going to be this year's 2024 Purdue Boilermakers. So we're going to go over that, maybe touch on some different things in the end there. But before we get started, Dylan, how have you been? It's been a while since we've been on here.
I know.
What are you doing? What's your thoughts on Purdue sports and the landscape going in the off season?
It's been so long since we did a podcast. I texted the group chat and I was like, I can't get my microphone to work. The thing was unplugged. So first, when you want to do a podcast, first things first, you plug in the dang microphone. But no, I'm feeling good, man. After a long basketball season, the longest in program history, it feels good to get back behind the microphone and talk some football. I love football. Season ticket holder for this will be my 15th season, something like that. It's been a while, but I'm excited. I think I'm excited to see what coach has and what the staff has, and Hudson with a good O-line is really exciting because we really haven't seen that in Hudson Card's short tenure at Purdue. But no, I feel like there's a good aura around the program, and I feel like things are headed in a solid direction for sure.
Yeah, I didn't realize until I started doing some research, and this is one of the things we'll try to talk about at the end. If you guys like video games, stick around. We're going to talk about the new NCAA football game a little bit at least. But I looked up whether there was going to be a new NCAA basketball game, and I didn't realize. I knew that football was more popular, but I didn't realize it dwarfed it in the way that it does. So,
really?
So like the last, when the last NCAA March Madness video game was?
Was it Blake Griffin 2010?
2009. At least the last EA. There might have been another one that was made.
But that was the Blake Griffin cover.
It was okay. So, but the last NCAA football game obviously was 2014. Yeah. So they stopped the basketball game earlier, not because
I never realized that.
Yeah, not because of the NIL stuff, but because the last year that they did it in 2009, they only sold like 190,000 copies or something like that. Like they didn't even
game. Like that wasn't a bad game.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it more than like the NBA games at that point because the mechanics of the NBA games at that point, it was like they tried to get you to start using the joysticks, start getting on the sticks for the NBA games. And to me, the movement was not fluid. Like it was weird. Yeah. But like the NCAA game, I loved it because you could call plays, you could set things up. You obviously had the recruiting aspect. You could, like Purdue does, you could recruit guys with certain specialties to fit them into your plays and things. So I hope they bring it back at some point, but it doesn't sound like they're too keen on it because it didn't sell well when they did do it.
Yeah, it won't have the same pop as the college football game, that's for sure.
Yeah, or at least like make the game and then just do a kind of an update and just kind of put the new rosters out there every 3 or 4 years before you do like a whole remake of that game. Like just make it a little more low maintenance so you're not putting more money into it, having to make more money.
Well, I don't know if you've seen it, but there was a college football revamped and they took the 2014 NCAA game and like added new uniforms and new helmets and like a little bit better graphics, but not by much. But so they pretty much just put the current uniforms on the 2014 teams, and it was pretty cool. The guys, it was like a mod, I think they call it. I don't know much about video games,
Yeah, I think Chris has played that a little bit and dabbled because he.
It was college football revamped. That's what it was.
Yeah.
As I'm trying to remember, that's what I.
So
that's something.
So, anyways, as you guys can see on the title there, we, now that, like I said, that the portal's done, recruiting's obviously done for the 2024 class. We're now into, trying to get commits for 2025 class, but we pretty much know the guys are going to be in the room. We've had the spring game. And so we just wanted to talk about, what we think the roster is going to look like, what we think the depth chart is going to look like, kind of give our thoughts. We have 95 days until Purdue football, guys, 95 days. A better way to think of it is like we're about to start June, right? Obviously, after June's July. And then in August, we're having Purdue football.
Do you
now,
know
it's obviously like August 31st is the Indiana State game, but like we're only a couple months away from being in a month where there's going to be Purdue football.
You know why July is a big month?
Because of our friggin' independence, man.
Well, I mean, yeah, that. And your boy was born in the month of July.
Oh, yeah? What day?
The 8th.
The 8th? Okay, so everybody blow his socials up on the 8th.
Don't do it.
8th of July. Ocho de Julio.
There you whoa. Bilingual podcast. Look at us, huh?
Yeah, that's about as smart as it goes there, bud. I guess where the bathroom is and where the library is. So
why the library?
I don't know. Just biblioteca was a word that like stuck with me.
We know you don't go to libraries very often. What are we?
No, not at all.
We're not a library.
I mean, hey, I did grow up in the area. Like, I know I'm a few years older than you. I know I'm ancient compared to you, but I did grow up in the era where you had to go to the library to study for like book reports. Like, you had to get on a computer, you had to sign in, wait for a computer, and you had to print stuff off and pay like 10 cents a page to print off stuff for your book reports. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ancient. You're old. No, I mean, like we had a computer at my house, but it was still AOL, dial-up screechy noises. It was, but like, no, I never had to go to the library to do. I mean, I'm not a reader, so I don't know if that surprises anybody.
I'm not a reader.
I don't do words good.
I
don't read good. I don't do words good. I don't read good. There's a reason I don't write for the website.
No, I don't think many of us have. We got to get on some writing there. Help Eric out. Help him get some content on that website.
Right? Eric is plugging away over there.
Oh yeah. So this is like the second podcast we've even done since the college huddle started. So
that's true. Shout out to the huddle.
Yeah, shout out. We'll get our stuff together. We've been doing a lot of stuff over there, helping them out. Especially Chris is on the board. I've been trying to help kind of get communication going between all these pods. We're up like over 70 schools now.
Getting communication between 70 something podcasts seems like quite a feat.
It's insane because I know Chris is a big Discord guy and he has been working over there. So
I still haven't learned how to use Discord yet.
Yeah, I'm working on it. You got it's definitely about organization and getting your notifications set up properly so you're not like getting flooded and overwhelmed. But yeah, well, it'll have a little bit of a learning curve, but we'll get there.
We'll figure it out.
So but anyway, so back to the this Purdue football team coming in this year. We've got a lot of new faces. We got I just told Dylan before we came on, he kind of was surprised with us. We got 45 new faces between our freshman class and our transfers. That is high, obviously. 45 is a lot of people when you only got like 90 scholarship players. Yeah. But it's not abnormally high, especially in today's day and age, right? Like Alabama's got 43. They had a new coach. They got turnover. Oregon's got 41. Dan Lanning's one of the top, 5-10 coaches in the country at worst. So it's not abnormal. It's not something we got to be necessarily worried about, I don't think, this year. Colorado, I think, is up over 50 or at 50 or something like that. And we've got good classes coming in. We've got the 27th ranked freshman class, 8th in the Big Ten, in the 18-team Big Ten. So like 8th is better than, you think old school Big Ten, 10 or 11 teams. No, this is that's slightly above average compared to the rest of the conference.
That's going to take some getting used to.
Yeah, it is definitely, especially considering the fact that you might not play a team like once every 4 years or something. That's going to be annoying. But we have those 27. We've got 13 that were already enrolled that kind of participated in spring ball in some manner, shape, or form. 13 more are signed, and then there's one more hard commit, that wide receiver Leland Smith or something, I think was his name.
Yeah.
One of the later guys that committed via Twitter, X, or whatever. We got 4 4-stars in that group, 23 3-stars. So that's pretty big too. Like we've got a lot of that kind of mid to higher level talent than what we're used to, and that's why we're 27th ranked and 8th in the Big Ten. Our transfer class is 29th ranked nationally, 7th in the Big Ten, so one spot higher per 24/7. Like I said, 18 guys. 1 4-star and 15 3-stars in that class.
That's
so
solid.
again, a lot more talent coming in. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to. You got to bear with me. Like Dylan and I, we were just talking about, we pay people for graphics now because we're not too great. So I'm going to try to pull up our lads depth chart. It's by no means official, but just want you guys to have something visual to look at as we kind of talk through these positions.
Besides our ugly mugs.
Right, exactly. We'll try to, put ourselves down in the corner there so you guys stare it up. And Dylan, I'm on full screen, so you're gonna have to let me know if there's any comments or questions coming in, man.
Oh,
you're on comment duty. Okay.
Why? But I can't click them on them.
Oh, that's right. Just like whistle or something. Let me know.
What a production.
But we'll start with offense. We're not going to go necessarily down the board in the order they got it on the screen here, because I want to start with the money position, which is the quarterback position. So, of course, that's probably one of the more known returning entities that we have. Hudson Card threw for 2,387 yards last year, which was 5th in the Big Ten, even after missing a game and being hurt in some of the other games there. 15 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Also rushed for 203 yards and 5 touchdowns. Still has this year and next year remaining of eligibility. That was one thing that I know Chris was a big pusher that people were talking about him like he was some veteran, but there was these other quarterbacks in the Big Ten that might catch Hudson Card, and once he leaves, then they'll take over, whatever. But Hudson Card has still got 2 full years of eligibility left, which I think he will use unless he has a really good year this year, which I wouldn't be mad at because that also means Purdue's team success is probably up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was actually in per game. I think he was 3rd in the Big Ten in passing yards per game. So he gives us a really talented kind of lead man there. One of the big differences is our incoming freshman 4-star quarterback out of Midland, Texas. His name is Marcos Davila, not Davila or Davila. It's Davila. I got that straight from the coach's show, straight from Coach Walters himself. That's how it's pronounced. So,
but what if Walt is wrong?
I mean, he was the one that was like, "Hey, I want to get this out there." He wants to make sure people pronounce his name correctly. So,
okay,
good. I'm going to take his word for it. So, he had a really impressive offer list. Had offers from, among others, Arizona, Baylor, Colorado. So, he's pretty big name, and obviously we've had success with quarterbacks out of Texas, right?
Yeah.
Drew Brees.
Ever heard of him?
Yeah. Returning as well on the roster, we've got redshirt freshman Ryan Brown. He didn't play enough games to have to burn a year of eligibility last year, so he's technically eligibility-wise still a freshman. Sophomore Bennett Meredith is returning, played several games last year as well. And redshirt freshman Jake Wilson, who threw the game-winning touchdown for Team Hammer Down in the spring game. I think the big thing there is our second. I think our drop off's a little bit less. It's going to be a big drop off, but what are your thoughts and expectations on quarterback position this year, Dylan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Hudson's pretty locked down. He had a pretty good year last year. Quick on his feet. I think in the spring game, what I noticed the most was his quickness seemed a little sharper. He's a little less weary about leaving the pocket. And when you have an upgraded O-line like we do, you're going to feel a little bit more confident leaving the pocket. Especially when you got an anchor like Gus Hartwig. I love Gus. But no, Hudson's great, man, and I'm excited to see what he does this year. And then Marcos behind him. He's got a really good guy in Hudson to learn from. Marcos is going to be great. I'm really excited about him. One, he has a great name. Marcos, that's a great name. Top 10 name. But no, I'm excited for Marcos to sit behind Hudson and learn from him. And I think Hudson's a guy that'll take another quarterback under his wing and show him the ropes. And I think we got a solid quarterback room. I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, 100%. If you guys didn't see the spring game, Davila was very impressive. I mean, he's a true freshman, and he came in the spring game as an early enrollee. So he's based on campus for what, 3 months at that point?
Yeah.
And was already running the second team offense. That's very impressive.
He looked like he'd been there for years. He looked very poised.
Absolutely. He is definitely, I would say at this point, the quarterback of the future for us. And, like I said, if Hudson Card has a great season this year, I think he still has the skill and the abilities and the ceiling of getting to the NFL.
Yeah.
And if he leaves this year, Davila could come in next year and be a 4-year starter for us. Worst case scenario, he redshirts this year. uses his freshman year next year and has 3 years of eligibility for us still. But he's definitely, you've seen the history of Purdue football is that we don't stay healthy at the quarterback position for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And so there's always that need to have a good backup that's not as big of a drop off. And I think we have that this year. I think you can rest a little bit easier. I think, you look at last year, that Northwestern game, if we have Hudson Card, I think we win that game.
Yeah.
And that changes the way this season looks, because then we're 4-5 in the Big Ten, and especially if we hold on to that Fresno State game, then we're a bowl team.
Oh, that Fresno State game.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about that. I was at that game, so we're not talking about that.
Very aggravating.
But yeah, and like you said it too about Hudson Card, he looks, he did look more confident, looked a lot smoother in the pocket, and that comes with, what we're going to talk about later, having an offensive line that he feels much more confident behind. He doesn't have to think about footsteps. He doesn't have to think about having an internal clock that's much shorter before he's got to get the ball out or get downfield. So I think that's huge for us. So I think that, obviously, like I said, there's the one name, Marcos Davila, that's kind of improved this quarterback room, but I think it's enormously improved this quarterback room. So we'll move the running backs next, kind of at the bottom of your screen there. So obviously Devin Mockabee is the returning starter, led the team last year in rushing yards. Even with the season Tyrone Tracy had, Mockabee was still the leading rusher, 811 yards, which was 7th in the Big Ten. Had 6 touchdowns, 4.7 yards a carry, which was 11th in the conference. And also added 19 catches for 180 yards and a touchdown in the receiving game. Top backup incoming transfer from Ryan Walters' former team, right? Another one of those players he's poached that's causing that rivalry to be a little more intense. But Reggie Love led them in rushing last year. I believe he's extending his career basically because of COVID. I think he played 4 years at Illinois. So he's just got 1 year here. He's listed as a senior on the roster. He is 5'11", 205 pounds, 567 rushing yards last year, which was 14th in the conference. 4 touchdowns, and then ran for actually 4.9 a carry, so a little bit more efficient than what Mockabee was. A little bit of a I wouldn't say shiftier because Mockabee's pretty dang shifty, crazy like Mockabee. But he Love is very quick. He's very gives me a was it like a Maurice Jones-Drew kind of a feel to him. Like I think he's gonna be very good in the receiving game. He's gonna be good on the edge, but he's just squirrely. He's a quick guy. The one other name I wanted to mention from the spring game especially was another true freshman. Jaheim Merriweather. He came in, he played with like the third team pretty much, but he made some big plays. He had at least one big play there in the fourth quarter that was impressive to me, that strikes me as somebody that could, get on the field for us a little bit this year, especially maybe against Indiana State or a game that might be out of hand. And also interesting of note on our roster between the running backs and quarterbacks, we only have 5 running backs listed on our roster right now versus 6 quarterbacks. So that could be a little bit troubling, but this pass first, pass heavy Graham Harrell offense, maybe that's just fine. Maybe we're right where we want to be. So what's your thoughts on the running back room there, Dylan?
Obviously, I'm a Mockabee guy through and through, not just Devin, but the entire family. Great people. Devin's, hopefully he's working on his, holding of the football, because he did have an issue with a few fumbles last year. And that's something I think he'll iron out this offseason and come back next season with, better handle on things. And then Reggie Love, I'm excited for Reggie Love. That's a great name too. Sounds like a 70s R&B singer. I think that's pretty.
Would you say
cool.
You love that name?
I love Love. No, man, I think Reggie Love will complement Mockabee well, and vice versa. I think if one's in a slump, the other will be able to pick up for the other. But no, I think it'll be solid. I think it's a good backfield for Hudson. And Mockabee can catch the ball. Can Reggie Love catch the ball? I believe he could.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So you got your check.
I don't think he did it a lot at Illinois, but he showed the ability to do it. I think in the spring game he caught a couple in the flat there.
So that's what I was thinking. I was remembering. So it's always good to have your check downs. No, I think it's a solid backfield on the offense for the running back room, and I love Devin Mockabee. I love me a Mockabee. Let me tell you. By the way, on was it the huddle? Was it the huddle? No, the OHIO pod. They were giving their top 18 running backs in the Big Ten, and I think they put Mock at like 10 or 11, if I remember right.
Disrespectful.
I know.
They didn't respect him coming in last year, and it's not going to change.
They probably put whoever Ohio State's running back is, and it won.
How's this for some low hanging fruit though? As far as nicknames go, right? We love some mock train. What about the Love Train? We got dueling trains, right?
Like Love Train. That's a whole song.
Double train tracks, yeah.
The Coors Light commercial.
Oh yeah. Not a
They
sponsor.
should, if they don't play that song in Ross-Ade after Reggie Love gets the ball,
bro.
they've got to play that after they score a touchdown.
I want that in the NCAA football game too. Like
Yeah,
we got names in the game now. Like let's make that happen.
If they don't play that when Reggie Love takes one to the house for 6, I don't know what they're doing, but I mean that's a genius idea.
I'm playing on my phone if I'm in the stands.
Really, what Babinski needs to do, and that's fun to say. What Babinski needs to do is he needs to hire the Boiler Express to be the entertainment gurus of Ross-Ade Stadium. We'll keep Trevor behind the mic, of course. Our good friend Trevor Peters, handsome mug, love seeing it. But like we just need to switch up the songs. There's such opportunities for different songs to play, and when Reggie Love takes it for 6, I want Love Train over the speakers, the 2 speakers we have for some reason at Ross-Ade Stadium, and get some more speakers. Jesus, I mean you can't hear anything.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We got
the only 2 are in the jumbotron, and then you don't have any in the outer bowl. It's a whole thing. I could go on.
Hey, let's not look. What's off season? We're gonna be excited. We're not gonna start.
I'm very excited. Listen,
right.
I'm super stoked. I'm just saying, let's kind of get a little creative with the songs.
Let's so before we get too much further, I want to shout out our buddy Cody here with a couple comments. Cody Abrams, love the new logo and excellent design. Hey, Dylan picked out some good people to help us out with that, or a good person. They said I'm pumped for this season. I have a feeling that we're going to be in the talks with the big boys. I agree. We'll get into that probably more in the off season. I don't, I know the basketball team and the way they talk about our basketball team, it's kind of a chip on your shoulder kind of a feeling. But I think for football, I'm okay with us being kind of slept on. I'm okay with like, go ahead and give us low expectations. Let us just come out of nowhere because, and when we can sum it up when we talk about the whole roster here, but the more I looked into this roster and I was talking to the guys, the more pumped up I get, and the more I'm thinking like, I'm not gonna be surprised we go 8-4, 9-3, 10-2. Like this team
undefeated, baby. What are you talking about? Undefeated.
We do have to go to Ohio State. That's Ohio State at Ohio State.
I'll be at that game.
Hey, I'm gonna try too. I'm gonna try to make that too.
You better. Dang it.
Gotta say, see a game with Eric and the OHIO boys. I tell you, it's easy to say.
What are you doing? Wow.
OHIO. Well, I'm gonna get canceled. All right.
You've had a run of almost getting canceled, Rez. Let's take a deep breath. All right.
I'm very shocked that we have a first year coach in Ryan Walters that we went 3-6 in conference, which is not great. It's not terrible. We were. Obviously the Fresno State game, like we talked about, it really came down to who was going to have the ball last with enough time to be the last one to score. Northwestern was a game where if we had Hudson Card, we probably win that game. And some of the other games, even like Iowa, came down to we were down 8 with the ball in the fourth quarter. Yeah. As bad as that game looked, like we still had a chance to try to make that happen. Wisconsin was just, the story of Wisconsin, right? We played the bad first, 10, 15 minutes, and then the game was just out of hand from that point. But I think this team, with what we're returning and the way we addressed our weak positions, which we'll get to, I think we definitely could surprise some people and be in talks with some of these big boys and get some upsets this year.
You know what they say, Russ? Boilers by a billion. Boilers by a billion. Let them know.
Let's go.
You are too Caucasian to be doing
it. So then last one, we'll talk more about this in the end, but Cody, if you haven't bought PS5, don't yet.
Xbox.
I haven't talked to the guys in the group yet, but I think most of us are going to have X series, and we're talking about doing some kind of like, online dynasty with the guys in the pod. Maybe we'll,
Russ has been talking so much smack when it comes to NCAA 25.
Well, I can back it up. You're the only one that could possibly threaten me, and the fact that you're the only one, I'm just going to go into it with all confidence. Like, I'm just saying.
Oh, slant till you can, boys. That's
I was surprised the PS5's like outsold the Xbox, like the X series and S series, like 3-1. But from what I hear, there's still plenty of people on Xbox, and most people I know, I think, are going to stay on Xbox. So hold off on that purchase. And not a sponsor, hashtag not a sponsor, but Sam's Club, I think, has them on sale still for like $50 off the X series.
It would be so Midwestern to have Sam's Club as their sponsor.
Go check out Sam's Club, your local.
Go over there to Sam's Club and get you some something. I don't know what that
great bulk pricing on some food and other usables, as well as cheap TVs.
They do have good prices on televisions.
Oh yeah, especially post Christmas. So where are we at? We did quarterbacks, running backs. We're rolling right along. 25 minutes in, we're only 2 positions in. So most of these will move a little faster, just because it's kind of more broad stroke. Wide receivers. There's a
Those
lot
are
of
the guys that catch the ball.
Yeah, the
those of
guys
you
that
who
catch
don't
the
know.
ball. It's a very good point. Dylan here with the high level insight.
In case the Indiana fans are watching.
Yo, you buddied. Smoke a cig, y'all. But, we got a lot of guys going out, a lot of guys coming in this position. This is one of the spots that Walters even said was something we needed to address, both in the transfer portal and in recruiting, and we pretty much did that. I'm pretty happy with what we did. Andrew Sawinski, I think, is our leading receiving wide receiver from last year. He obviously caught that first touchdown in the spring game as well. Jaden Dixon-Veal played a lot with the first team. Jaron Tibbs, Jamal Edrine is he's a guy that they were excited about last year, but then obviously got hurt, was out all season. So, I'm excited to see what we're going to get from him, but he is coming off an ACL tear. So what are we getting? What percentage of, if we're getting 90% of what he was last year, what's that going to look like? But then, of course, we got the two Georgia guys, right? Denylon Morissette and CJ Smith.
That's Denylon, like the material?
Like the material, spelled like the material. Denylon, DE' nylon.
Strong as nylon.
Both 3-star receivers from Georgia, very high level program, right? College football playoff national title winning program.
The Dogs.
They tied for our second highest incoming transfers, so they're pretty talented. They're expected to contribute. I think they had kind of an issue, maybe learning and getting the offense down enough to contribute a lot during the spring game. But you saw how fast CJ Smith was. There's a lot of talk about, is CJ Smith the fastest guy on the team? Last year, obviously, it was between Deion Burks and Dylan Thieneman. Now this year, it seems between CJ Smith and one of our defensive backs coming in, Breedlove, who the fastest player is this year. So CJ Smith's going to be a field stretcher. And Denylon Morissette seems like more of a possession guy. But those are kind of the big names. Is there any other names that you're looking forward to seeing, or that I didn't name there?
No, I mean, I'm excited for this wide receiver group. It seems pretty refreshing compared to the last few years. Hudson, Card just needs some weapons, and I think they've done what they can to get him those weapons. And we'll get to it later. The tight end position is another position I'm really excited for. But no, as long as we give Hud some weapons there down the field, and I think with the speed, I think he'll have that. And I'm real excited to see it. I'm excited to see some Rondale style twists and flips and all this crazy stuff again, man. I've missed that asset of Purdue's offense since Rondale is out tearing it up in the NFL.
Absolutely, yeah. It seems like it's a lot of those guys, right? Like speedster, possession across the middle. They're gonna obviously, like I said, Harrell's runs a pass first. Mike Leach coaching tree kind of an offense. They want to throw the ball over the yard.
Rest in peace.
So yeah, rest in peace.
What a genuine legend that guy. I mean,
genuine. Some of the best press conference sound bites you could ever ask for. Great stuff. He's so happy to see that it's at least at 14 teams now going in. Well, 12 teams this year, 14 next year for the playoff. He'll be so proud that they finally.
His advice, does that go in effect this year?
It's 12 this year, yeah, and 14 next year, yeah.
Nice.
Where you been at?
I
man?
like that.
Where you been at?
I don't know. Listen, it's so much.
You got kicked in the head by a horse. You forgot where we was at.
Gone close. Not yet. Thank God.
But yeah, I think the two guys I'm most excited about to see, at least, I'm not necessarily saying they're going to be the best, but CJ Smith, I want to see that speed on display. The first team offense obviously played kind of more of a touch football game, so you couldn't really see maybe full on what it was going to look like. And then Jamal Edrine, they were, like I said, really excited about him last year. Seemed like he was possibly going to be our leading receiver last year. Still might be our leading receiver, our wide receiver one this year. But I think it's going to be more of a position of, superior. Was it? What's the war term? Like victory through superior firepower or something.
You're the veteran. I don't.
Yeah, I screwed that one up. I should have had that one.
You're
ready.
The Marine. Figure it out. Jeez.
But it's just going to be loading all these guys up and seeing who works. Giving everybody a shot here and there. It's definitely one of those positions that Walter's talked about on every position, but especially wide receiver. If you can play, you're going to play. Whether you're a freshman, senior, transfer, whatever. And I think these guys are going to get the chance because especially when you're having 3, 4, 5 wide receiver sets, these guys are going to have a chance. And Card, if he has the protection, he's going to find these guys if they're open. So it's kind of what I got for receiver. We'll go ahead and move on to tight end. Well, I'll let you start then. You said you're excited about tight end. Who are you excited about? Is there somebody big on tight end that we're
Yeah, I think he's a big transfer. No. He's not a transfer. He's a freshman, isn't he?
yeah. Tavion Galloway.
Yeah, Galloway. I knew that. No, dude, like when you see Galloway at the spring game, he looks more of a Ryan Kerrigan than he does a tight end. Dude is built to
Big dude.
no end. How
Big dude.
he's got to be what, 19 maybe? How do you get that built at such a young age? I don't know what they're feeding the kid, but
Something in the water there in
golly.
Ohio. He's Ohio boy. Just like
Hey,
you,
that's
right?
Ohio boys. Let me tell you, I was built just the same back in the day, but I've kind of lost my fastball.
Yeah, he was one of those guys that when we wanted some, postseason content, or it might have even started in season, I believe, right? Like he was all over social media with a lot of teasers and a lot of,
yeah.
hey, what do y'all think if I went here? What do y'all think if we went here? And I know that there was times when we really wanted him. There's times where we were like, you know what, at this point, just pick a school, dude. Like we don't care. But he was a big get. 33 offers. He was a 3-star tight end, is what I think he ended at. There's times where he was at 4-star status. I think if he commits like in Ohio State, he probably stays a 4-star or gets the 4-star rating. But because he went to Purdue, Eric over the OHIO pod, he gives a lot of good insights about recruiting and how that stuff works. But these sites, they want to be right about things, and imagine that people want to be right about stuff. But when they commit to a smaller school, their rating tends to drop. But when they commit to an Ohio State or an Alabama, they tend to kind of bump them up because they go, well, those are schools that compete for national titles. So if they're recruiting the guy, maybe he's a little better than what we think he is. So I see him more as a 4-star edge talent, but offers from Auburn, Colorado, Florida, LSU, Michigan, Mississippi State. So to get a guy like that just shows the work that Walters is doing, Coach Walt's doing on the recruiting trail and what he's selling these guys. Max Clare is obviously the big name at tight end. Sophomore, returning, got hurt last year, but was playing really well for us. He's actually our returning overall pass catcher, leading pass catcher. Had 22 catches for 196 yards last year. Did not get in the end zone, so hopefully we get him that touchdown this year. But that just shows kind of how wide open our receiving room and really kind of tight end room is, that our leading receiver didn't even have 200 yards on the season last year. So going to be very wide open. George Burren is another guy I want to highlight. He's a sophomore. So he played in the slot in the last game of the season last year and had 5 catches for 74 yards against Indiana. It's a pretty decent day.
Pretty good day.
Considering that was also his season total. Didn't catch a pass all season. TJ Sheffield transfers the week of the Indiana game. They put in the tight end who's been, studying with the tight end and been in the tight end room all year, put him in the slot receiver position. And Coach Walt kind of took a shot on the coach's show. I don't know if you watched the coach's show. You saw it. It's a while back now, but he kind of took a shot. And he said that. That was his words, that he goes, yeah, we put this guy as a tight end who studied with the tight ends all year, put him in the slot receiving role for the last game of the season, and he was more productive than that role was all season. So, maybe a little shot at old Sheffield there. But our tight end room is definitely one that's going to get used. It's very talented, very happy with what we got there.
Hey, Russ, real quick, take that comment down. It's been on there for like half an hour.
My bad. Look, hey,
I tried being professional and texting you, but you're not checking your phone.
Look, I'm the greatest multitasker. There's less time when there's only 2 of you, especially if there's only end up being 1 of you, but there's 2 of you. There's less time to like go scrolling through the phone and catching up on things and trying to find this extra note or whatever. But yeah, so offensive line's a big group of need this year, especially with how much shuffling was done last year, how many injuries we suffered last year, how many guys we lost going into last year that we had to replace, even starting out. What is your thoughts on kind of what we needed for the O-line, what it looked like in the spring game, what you're looking forward to? I know you already mentioned our favorite guy there in the middle, anchoring it, in Gus Hartwig, but what are your thoughts on that position group?
Yeah, I mean, Gus is not only but a great player, but he's a great dude. You got a lot of size. I mean, obviously is what you need. But I'm excited for Gus. I'm excited for was that Musa? Is that how you say his last name?
Yeah, Muhammad Musa.
Oh, look at me. Corey Stewart, Jalen Grant.
Oh,
what?
Dropping names. Let's go. Keep it going.
They're on the dang screen. What do you think?
Oh yeah,
don't give me too much credit. Golly.
you called yourself out there.
There-
I'm sitting here looking down my notes, going, "Man, this guy's
How
good."
can the viewers see that their
Hey,
names are right there? And
not
they
all of them are
know
watching.
that's
You you could have let the Spotify, the audio listeners know, like,
wow,
hey,
Dylan's actually knowing names and
yeah,
stuff. Look at
look
this.
at this guy.
No, Jalen Grant is what I'm really excited for. At least I didn't say like Grant Jalen. At least I know enough that their names are. Could you imagine? Mbow Marcus. No, I think they're great. I think they're solid, and hopefully they give Hud enough time to throw the ball. Because you look at Hudson, he's really good. He's a really sharp thinker. He's a quick thinker, and he knows he's got really good pocket presence. And so when it's breaking down, he's quick to get rid of it, which can sometimes hurt you. So I think got a lot of good anchors there in the O-line, and I think they'll hold things down for Card and the running backs, and hopefully give the running backs some space to run the ball.
Yeah. I said earlier, Coach Walters said that this was a position of need that they were going to go after, just like wide receivers. They were going to go after in the transfer portal and through recruiting, and he did just that. And he said when he was asked what the type was we're looking for, he just said big dudes.
Big
I
dudes,
want to be
big dogs.
6'4", 6'5", 300 plus. And
We need
by
some
George,
like Wisconsin or Nebraska sized gentlemen. Those
yes.
guys are huge.
So
And
our projected starting O-line is averaging 6'4", 305.
Damn.
Some big dudes.
Big fellas.
I wanted to highlight our transfers. We got 4 big dudes out of the transfer market. Corey Stewart, like you mentioned, from out of Ball State. He's a senior, so we got 1 year out of him, but he's 6'6", 303. Was a 3-star guy at high school and 3-star transfer, so decent talent there. Joey Tanona, tackle out of, I believe he stepped away from the game a little bit, maybe, and I don't know if he's friends with like Gus Hartwig, maybe, or somebody in the Purdue O-line room.
Any friend of Gus is a friend of mine.
Yeah. So he got yeah, there you go. He's 6'5", 284, 4-star out of high school, 3-star transfer from Notre Dame. DJ Wingfield, senior interior offensive lineman from New Mexico, 6'4", 290, 3-star out of high school and transfer. And then Joshua Sales Jr., a junior tackle. So we got a couple years out of him, out of IU. Always good to steal somebody, from their starting lineup down there.
Got him.
The crew in Bloomington. He's 6'6", 316.
That's insane.
3-star high school transfer. And then just one guy I want to answer as far as the transfer portal goes, or not transfer, freshman class goes. Jaquan Bolden.
Nailed it. You were killing it with the names tonight.
Hey, I try. 3-star tackle out of Perkinston, Mississippi. This dude is 6'7", 350. Did you hear that? Don't 6'7", 350. 350.
That's so. How does a human get that big?
Bro, I don't know, but I don't want to get in his way.
No, I don't want to.
When it comes to him trying to move somebody against their will, I'm going to bet on that dude.
Good Lord Almighty, he's a fridge.
But you can see our lads kind of went off of the spring game. I don't know that that's what the room looks like, come week 1 against Indiana State. But they did play very well in the spring game, so I wouldn't be surprised that's kind of how it stays. But I think these transfers will get some playing time, and offensive line is those trenches are a brutal place to be in college football nowadays. It is big dudes that are 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", 300, 350 plus. So it's hard to keep guys healthy. That's kind of what was one of the big issues with our O-line last year, right? What you got?
No, I just said 350.
350.
Yeah, pretty big.
But yeah, Gus Hartwig's gonna be the anchor. He was, rated per Pro Football Focus 69.1 overall.
Nice.
He was 83.0 in the passing game and pass blocking. 64.8 in run blocking. And Corey Stewart, the guy that they're thinking is gonna be our starting left tackle, he was rated last year 80.7 pass blocking, which is huge, right? Left tackle is the guy you want to be your best pass blocker because he's pass blocking Card's blind side. He's the guy that's going to give him the ability to feel most comfortable in the pocket. And so it sounds like we've kind of nailed that position down. If we can keep these guys healthy, Mohamed Musa, like you said, he played 617 snaps for us.
Say that name again.
Yep. Marcus Hembo, play on a right tackle position, played 446 positions or 446 positions, 446 snaps.
Guy's been busy. Good
He's
lord.
been all over. You talk about playing
Dude,
two-way football. That dude
he's
is
played for like 7 different teams.
everywhere, everywhere. But when he was on the field, he actually was higher rated on the season than Gus. 70.2 according to Pro Football Focus. 76.4 in the pass game. 69.0 in the run game.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a line that, like I said, it's bigger. We've upgraded it. It just is about staying healthy and working together. Having 3 O-line groups is huge because this time last year, part of the reason we didn't have a spring game was we didn't have enough O-line people in that room to have 2 O-lines, right? Like in a lot of positions, we're not that deep. This year we've had 3 O-lines through the spring program. We should have even more guys coming in the fall. So this is a position that I think is going to be huge, huge improvement for us. So let's go ahead before we go to defense side. We're going to play some sweet sounding words. What if I can get to it here? Words.
We're gonna play some good words.
Some good old words here. From
This word is brought to you by
from your director of morale, Mr. Dylan Kuhn here.
Tell me, do you like to be fashionable? Do you like to look handsome or beautiful? Do you like being the best dressed Purdue fan you know? Well, guess what? We got just the place for you. It's called martinvintage.com. And if you go there, you will find the best in Purdue throwback designs on the market. I'm telling you, if you want it, they got it. Basketball, football, Purdue Pete logos, anything and everything. And if you go to martinvintage.com and use code BXB at checkout, they'll throw you 10% off your order. Now, that's a great deal if you ask me. Tell them that we sent you, and they'll say, hey, you have slightly above average taste in podcasts. Here's 10% because they're friends of the program, and we can't thank them enough. Again, martinvintage.com. Use code BXB at checkout for 10% off. Boiler up.
I love that phrase. Hey, you've got slightly above average taste in podcasts. Here's 10% off. Did you come up with that on your own?
Oh yeah, no, I always call myself a slightly above average podcaster because I'm not the best, but like I'm not the worst. I bring the funnies. What do we? I'm the comedic relief director of morale. And Damon has also referred to me as the personality hire of the Boiler Express podcast. So we're killing it. Also, JR one time on the huddle said that I'm good at podcasting for not knowing what I'm podcasting about. I think tonight's proven that I paid attention a little bit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can
screw you, JR.
You pay attention better than me because you were reading words off the screen that I didn't even realize you were doing. So.
That's why when you did this pre-show, I'm like, oh, good. I'll sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Emba, Jeffrey,
Emba, and
guy. Who's this? Yeah, yeah.
Dylan Thieneman.
We're gonna shift to the defense. I don't have as many notes. So I'm sure.
Well, the defense is Dylan Thieneman. So and then,
well, hey, I think there's a few guys that are going to have something to say about that. I think our defense, if you want to talk about, who had more room to improve, our offense or our defense, I think you would definitely have said our defense after last year. So we did as much reloading on the defensive side, if not more, because obviously we lost some guys like Nick Scorton was maybe an unexpected loss on the defensive side there.
Texas A&M.
But here at the front seven, I'm going to talk about the kind of split into two groups here. We'll talk about the front seven and then the defensive backs. But our front seven, I say front seven kind of in quotation marks because obviously you guys know that, after watching Purdue last year, there's not really a set defensive scheme for Coach Walters, right? Like it's going to be really interesting to me to see how they put that into this NCAA football game because I joked many times last year that our defense sometimes looks like that punt return safe man or whatever that play in NCAA football or in Madden where you just got 10 guys that were within 5 yards of the line that are in some kind of man or blitz coverage. And then you got one guy that's like 15, 20 yards off the ball, which was Dylan Thieneman.
Yeah.
So weird to see because many times on TV, he was off the screen. So, I say front seven and basically I'm just talking about our defensive line, linebackers. If you see on the screen there, the buck position, the fox position, this is the first time I saw those positions named this way when I looked up the R-Lads depth chart. So that was
R-Lads the website you used?
Yeah, R-Lads is their website that they're not always accurate. I take everything they say with a grain of salt, but they do a decent job of kind of just getting names out there. And you can see on the screen there, they highlight any incoming freshmen or transfers in yellow. so you can kind of see who the new names are and who's actually returning.
That's orange for
you know,
sure.
they put the years on there, and this was pretty much what started the spring game, right? Like you look at the offensive side, that was the O-line and the other position groups that kind of started for the first team offense in the spring game, and these are kind of guys that started for the first team defense in the spring game. So, you know, I want to start obviously with the big kind of, you know, returning guy that as far as changing schemes goes is Cajun Jenkins up front. He's going from kind of a sole pass rushing role to he's playing middle linebacker now. Now he'll still, you know, especially on third down roles, you know, third down, you know, obvious passing positions. He'll be rushing the passer and be getting after the quarterback, but he's going to play more of a kind of directing the defense role, more of a middle linebacker kind of a role, kind of a short safety on the field there. But you know, he'll still be, you know, I have no doubt he'll still be among the league leaders in sacks coming the end of the year. Will Helt, he's a guy that obviously made one of the biggest plays in the spring game, right? The pick six that he had kind of late in that game. He was a guy that really stepped in and kind of filled some roles for us late in the season last year, really midway.
Did he get a touchdown in the spring game, didn't he?
Yeah, that's what I just said. You ain't listening, man.
Oh.
Um,
Clip it. No,
But,
I do have to apologize to Will. I tweeted that nobody should be able to wear 15 in football or basketball again because of Drew Brees and Edie. And he quote tweeted it, and he didn't like it. And then he scored, and I said, "Well, you're showing me how stupid I am." So I appreciate it. So
well, he did the opposite for me. He made me seem smart because I texted you guys when I was at the spring game, and I said, "Man, Will is looking bigger, stronger, longer. He's going to be a problem on defense." And then
great head of hair on the kid.
Yeah. Then like not even like 5 minutes later, he got that pick six, and I was like, "Well, there you go." I guess
Rusty called it.
There, Rusty called it. But yeah, those are, you know, some return guys. Obviously, you know, Yanni Karlaftis is going to play a role. Yeah, he's going to be kind of that outside, as you see there. Where is he at on there? Oh no, well, yeah, we saw linebacker. He'll get after the quarterback as well. I think had some sacks in the spring game. He's developing pretty nicely now, going into his junior year. But Cole Brevard, guy that we love on the pod. I know Damon especially is a big fan of his. He's a guy that he came over and got us all hyped up at the Virginia Tech game. Big body inside there. Shittasilla. Not going to repeat that.
So wait, one more time.
You can see it on the screen there. The Fox.
Is that genuinely how it's pronounced?
I tried to look and I didn't see, even in his highlight tapes from Boston College, it didn't really pronounce his first name. It just kept saying Silla. So I'm just going to say Silla from now on. So one time you'll probably hear me say his first name. But where I've heard his name said, that's how they say it. I know Boiler Dowd pronounced it that way. So if he said it, I'm going with it.
If Dowd's big brain said it, then it's true.
Exactly. But he started with the first team as the rush end there, as you can see. You know, very productive career at Boston College. He's another guy that's just kind of come over for 1 year to fill that position. And I see that a lot, especially on defense here. You see those guys that are seniors, juniors, and seniors that are transferring in. I think that the plan is to move to more of a freshman, kind of not quite like basketball. Like I think there's going to be a lot more of a need for a transfer portal in football, but he will want to be more heavy to the freshman class. He just had to build up that pipeline, right? Like we had a lot of guys leave when Brom left. The cupboard was fairly bare, and so he had to go heavy in the portal last year and again this year. I don't see us being as heavy in the portal, and that's why these guys are kind of older on the back end as far as instead of being freshman, sophomore transfers, they're coming in as upperclassmen. So, you know, that's kind of the names I wanted to highlight on the front seven there. Also, CJ Smith. I'll say one more name, CJ Smith. So if you're thinking about the four guys from Georgia, just think Nylon and CJ, because we got or not CJ Smith. I said CJ Smith. CJ Madden. CJ Madden is the linebacker. You can see him there. There's the second string buck linebacker or buck position. CJ Smith's the speedy wide receiver, and then we got Nylon Green, the defensive back, and then Denylon Morissette, the receiver. So you remember CJ Nylon, you remember the Georgia guys. So, but what are you looking for that front seven? Who you think is going to be popping out this year? What are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, Russ, I think you pretty well hit it on the head there, pal. Of course, I mean, Thieneman's going to be a baller. That kid is ripped. You talk about, like, I don't know what. I know we have a good, like, weight room at Purdue, but good Lord, these kids are using it, and it's showing, man. What's the new strength and conditioning coach?
I know we got it from Michigan. I couldn't.
Cairo Small.
There you go. Yeah, because
dude, look at me tonight. And that's not even on the screen. Cairo Small does a hell of a job. And I need to have him as my strength and conditioning coach because I'm a big fat stooge. No, man, I don't know. I'm looking forward for Yanni too. I think Yanni will have a solid year. Watching his brother win a couple Super Bowls, kind of a big deal. I don't know, man. I'm excited for the defense. I think they'll be better than last year. I think they'll show a lot of improvement, and I think Thieneman's going to have another outbreak year. And he's got some records to break. Or has he already broke Stu's record?
Oh no. He only had 6 interceptions. I say only, but he set the freshman interception record at Purdue.
That's what it was. The freshman.
He's on pace to, obviously at 6 interceptions. He's on pace to shatter Stu's record of interceptions if he keeps that up.
Shout out to our brothers too.
That's position. If you go back the last 3 years now on Coach Walt's defenses, his safety that plays that position has had 5 or 6 interceptions every year. So it's been a productive position as far as getting takeaways, and I don't expect that to change. He was somebody, and we'll go ahead and get the defensive backs here. So Dylan Thieneman, per Pro Football Focus, I don't know if you guys check them out. They hashtag not a sponsor. They're kind of the college basketball analytics of the football side of things, right? They rate guys based off of their plays, outcomes, snaps on the field, that kind of thing. And Dylan Thieneman was the highest rated safety in the country last year. Not freshman safety, not freshman defensive back, highest rated safety in the country. Third team All-American, obviously. So he was very decorated, but he was rated 89.5, which is like elite. That's like
he's already got a banner in the practice facility.
He already got a banner. He should have been first team. If it wasn't for him playing for a 4-8, team like Purdue that's not a blue blood, he would have been first team.
Yeah.
But he, like I said, was the highest rated safety in the country. He was 90.2 in run defense. So to me, that's very impressive. When you're talking about a guy that's playing 15, 20 yards off the ball and he's that high rated in the run game, like that dude, I was very impressed with his diagnosis ability last year. He basically counts to 2 or 3 in his head and he makes his decision on what he's doing on that play.
Yeah.
He does not wait around. He has the speed, and he knows it. And so he wants to impact on every single play. And he wants to either take a dude's head off or be running the other way with the ball, like period. Like that dude, he is like, from everything I've heard, he's the guy that's the first in the practice room, in the practice facility, and the last one to leave. Like he is a worker. Like he has earned everything he's gotten. He's going to be a guy that's playing on Sundays one day. I guarantee it. He's just insane. He's insane. He's going to anchor that secondary, especially over the top. And he's going to allow the guys up front to play a lot more aggressive than what we were able to play last year. And I think that's going to be a big, big difference in our defense. Nyland Green is the other big name on our defensive back that I want to highlight. He's our 4-star transfer, right? He was the number 12 overall player in the portal this year and the top-rated cornerback. So to get somebody like that, and out of Georgia, who he was like 6th or 7th highest-rated defender on their team, to get somebody like that out of the SEC up to the Big Ten country and to a school like Purdue is just another one of those examples of how good of a job Coach Walt and his staff are doing of recruiting. Like I said, he was Georgia's 6th highest rated. He was 77.6. So not crazy great, but he was still higher rated than most of our defenders last year. Kendrick Breelove, I mentioned him a little bit earlier. He might be in the running for our fastest guy on our team this year. With CJ Smith, he's going to be the guy. So if Nyland Green is the guy that we're going to put on the team's best receiver, Breelove is the guy we're going to put on their speedster, the guy that we're afraid is going to take the top off, and he'll help Dylan Thieneman to kind of have one guy that he knows is not going to get beat over the top, right? He can kind of stake that side of the field, know, okay, Breelove ain't going to get beat. I can kind of focus on, the other 10 guys on offense, kind of diagnose that. Antonio Stevens is another guy that returned from last year's team, starting strong safety, which that position is, take that with a grain of salt, because if you've seen, like we talked about, if you've seen Walt's defense, we really only have one deep safety. The other guy is kind of playing 5 yards off the ball. So he's going to play more of that Sanusi Kane role. Good night. I almost totally blanked on that dude's name. Kind of the Sanusi Kane role that he played last year.
Your bedtime, dog.
Right. We also have 3 4-star guys joining our secondary that are freshmen that are going to be coming in the fall. They weren't a part of the spring ball, but Terry Grant was a late get. I know we were pumped about him. He was a guy that Walt kind of talked about way back in December as somebody that's kind of committed, but we can't talk about yet. But he's a 4-star guy out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee. He's also kind of a two-way athlete. He's got a lot of receiving tape. If you look at his receiving tape on YouTube, he's done a lot to help the offense in high school, so you might see him on offense for us. And then a pair of 4-star safeties, Luke Williams out of Napierville, Illinois, and Coy Beasley out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Another Ohio boy there.
Ohio.
So that's kind of all I got on the secondary and the rest of the defense. I'll kind of let you finish on that, and then let's talk about the football game a little bit.
Nah, man, you nailed it. I think it'll be a much improved room, and I'm excited to see what those guys can come up with.
Yeah, Nyland Green, he looks every bit the part, man. When I watched him, he looks like a big, rangy, long cornerback that can shut down a
kind of like a Corey Trice.
Definitely. That's a good comparison. Corey Trice. He could, even like an Emeka Ibuka. Like we go into Columbus at Ohio State, if he's able to shut down Ibuka, and then we got to make. Now Ohio State turns out the receivers, so we know that's you got to shut down a lot more than just one guy with them. But if you're able to shut down their top option, and then we put Breedlove on, one of their fast, speedy guys, and try to make him beat us underneath, with Dylan Thieneman kind of lurking in the defensive backfield there, I think this defense is going to give us a shot this year. This defense is going to give us a shot. We have a very tough schedule, but we very much addressed the defensive back position, especially at cornerback on the line there. And that's the staple of a Walters defense, right? Like that was, I think, what was struggling with our defense last year was, the defense is built on guys that can play lockdown corner, right? And we didn't really have that last year, right? We had 2 transfer corners in Wilson and Brown, and then guys in like Cam Allen and Sanusi Kane that are safeties that we're trying to maybe have them guard people on the line. And it just didn't work last year. It didn't work. We got beat in many cases pretty badly, and it wasn't necessarily big plays because Dylan Thieneman is too quick to get beat over the top. But you give up 15, 20-yard chunk plays, it's not going to matter that you're not giving up the big home run shots. And I think this year's defense is going to be able to lock down on that a little bit better. And I think they had better do that because I don't want to see guys start to transfer out. With as much work as we've done in the recruiting game, I don't want to see these guys like Nick Scorton. Nick Scorton was beating the drum for us last year, right? I don't know if you remember that. He was on social media, like trying to get guys to Purdue. He was like Mr. Purdue, and then he transfers after we go 4-8. So that's the only thing I really worry about with this season this year. I don't, if 4-8 is not the end of the world for me, but I do worry about what that means for our roster.
And then I worry about what that means for Purdue Twitter if we go 4-8, because good Lord Almighty.
Well, but it's funny because you look at Purdue Twitter now and they kind of expect that, right? Like there's a lot of people that are like, oh,
they do that every year. And then it's actually reality and the house is burning down.
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
the guys.
Makes no sense. But I tell you what, to Purdue fans' credit as a whole, that Minnesota game and that Indiana game at the end of the season when we were out of bowl eligibility playing in Ross-Ade, those games were like 90% plus capacity and jumping atmospheres. So I will give us that credit there. I'm not going to completely poo-poo our fan base there. So you saw Cody talk about it earlier. Dang, I just hit my mic. Hopefully that didn't come up on the.
Oh, it did.
Oh, great. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. So you saw Cody talk about earlier. This video game that we were referencing, right? NCAA football is coming back. So if you guys aren't video games and you just want to hear about the roster, that portion of the show is over. Submit any questions or complaints or criticisms to Dylan. Was it at Dylan Kuhn, right? What is that on
at Dylan Kuhn _.
There you go. Yeah.
I have the right to ignore all my mentions, which I do.
But we got this little game coming up, right? It's been 11 years. Like it was NCAA 14, but that means it came out in 2013. So
we may not do a podcast all of July.
We will not. Actually, we'll take this back. I'll take that back. We'll probably do a lot of streaming. so
yeah, but it won't be podcasting. It'll be
it won't be podcasting. It'll be here's Dylan and Russ cussing each other out on a video game.
Oh, I can't check it out now. I can't do it. We're gonna need a bleep button. We're gonna need Chris on the side with the bleep button.
So what are you most excited about? Do you have an X series, an Xbox X series?
Yeah, I have the X series.
Okay, so
what I'm so excited, man. Like the minute they started rumblings of it coming out, I've been excited for it. It's so much fun. I think why people connect with it more than they do Madden is because there's much more emotional connections to these teams than the NFL in some ways. I'm hoping it's not a carbon copy of Madden, but it doesn't look like it is. They let you, from what I can tell from screen grabs, they let you wear hoodies under your uniform. the crop top, which is popular in college football now. I'm so excited. Like I'm jonesing over needing this video game. And I'm not even like a big video game guy, but NCAA has always been one of my favorites. I'm stoked, man. And I'm stoked to see how Purdue looks, see what uniforms they come wearing. That's another thing. Purdue, release the dang uniforms, please. Good Lord, we're all waiting. I think Illinois just released their helmets before we started the pod, and they look fire.
Don't say that about Illinois. Don't say nice things.
I know, I hate complimenting them, but they got the block Illinois back there back in like the day, and it looks really good. Anyway, I'm just excited, and I'm excited to play with you guys, and we're gonna have a little league or whatever they call it, and I'm gonna win it, and it's gonna be
Dynasty.
It'll be Dylan's dynasty. Damn it.
Yeah, I've had a wave of emotions with this, right? Because like they've actually been talking about this for like 3 years. So it's been a little bit frustrating because, you know, they started talking about it, I feel like almost in COVID or like right after COVID.
Yeah.
But then they were like, well, it might be 2 years out. And so I'm like, well, I'm just going to not think about it then because I'm going to drive myself nuts waiting for the thing. And then now it's like we're getting all these teasers and it's like, oh, it's here. And it's like, no, it's July 19th, man. Like it's, you know, we still got a month and a half till this sucker comes out. So
it's gonna be
like,
the longest month and a half. And I don't work this summer now that I'm in my new gig. So like I'm never gonna leave the house for like 3 weeks. No one's gonna see me until school starts back.
You're gonna get the game on the doorstep, and then also like your pre-school year prep on the doorstep at the same time. You're gonna be like, yeah, well, I know which one's winning this battle.
I'll teach the kids next year about the history of NCAA, the video game.
Oh, you know what? I saw a funny thing the other day that said anybody that's under the age of 25 has to manually enter everybody's name on this game.
Oh yeah, you get quarterback number. You get quarterback number 3 and tight end number 88. Like you don't get these kids now, man. They're spoiled. They don't know what it was like in OG times when you had to just imagine or download rosters with guys' names on it. What a time! What a time to be alive.
They don't know. So I want to play a quick little over/under game with you, and then I got a little trivia question for you too for the last NCAA game. So last game, it was the NCAA 14. They had 60 players rated 90 overall or better. Who do you think is going to be the best player on our team?
Ooh, that's a good question. Probably it's got to be Thieneman's up there.
Top 4. Give me your top 4 in order. See if we got the same.
Let's do Thieneman, Card, Mockabee, can't come up with the 4th. I don't know. That's my top 3.
Yeah, so I got similar, but I'm throwing Jenkins in there at second.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think Thieneman being a third-team All-American has got to be the highest-rated player on our team.
Yeah.
He's obviously, like I said, you know, but this technology nowadays age, like it's, you know, I feel like Purdue got disrespected in the past. I don't know about you on these NCAA games where they did not get the benefit of the doubt in some of these ratings. But now that you have like Pro Football Focus, that they literally, you know, give you a number based off of like computer ratings, right? It's like, it's not, there's no bias to it. There's no nothing. There's just this team played this team on this date. This was the play. This was the outcome. This is the player rating. So when you have those numbers and those, I'm trying to think. I can't think of the big brain word. Frank's not here. But you have those algorithms. There we go. You got those algorithms. Oh, boom. Nice. Oh, wait. This isn't Madden. Rest in peace as well. Yeah, you got all those numbers out there, and Thieneman is the highest rated safety. I feel like he's got to be at least 90 plus. So I put 91 overall is kind of my guess, but do you think that's high or low on him?
No, I think that's good.
Yeah.
I think it's a solid, you know, rating. I'd be shocked if he was well under 90, but I'd also be kind of surprised if he was a 95 or above.
Yeah, I think 95 would be high to me. Like I said, I think mid 90s would be awesome for him, but I think low 90s is kind of the expectations.
Yeah.
Jenkins, the reason I have number 2 is, again, when you take a look at stats, numbers, player ratings last year, Jenkins was 3rd in the conference in sacks, right? Like Scorton led it. That dude from Penn State was 2nd. And Jenkins was 3rd in sacks. So I think that if you look at those stats and you look at what he was able to do on defense, he deserves about I would say mid to high 80s. So I put 88 on him. Do you think that's high for him?
No, I think it's solid.
Yeah.
It may be a little high. I could see him like an 82 to 85 range, but you never know.
And then I've got Card and Mockabee were my third and fourth. I've got them at 85, and not because of my interpretation of their skill. I think to me they should be 90s or above.
Yeah.
Personally, but they're Mockabee, like you said, he was the 10th or 11th running back to some people in the Big Ten. So I don't think that the national respect is there for him. And then you did have the fumble issues last year, so people look into that. They kind of go, I don't know about that. But I think if he's not mid 80s, that's a disrespectful rating. And then Hudson Card, like I said, he was 5th in the conference in passing yards, 3rd in yards per game. So he's got the talent. He just couldn't necessarily stay healthy. And the defense just put him in positions where he had to perform again and again and again. So I think he deserves mid 80s as well there.
For sure.
Thoughts?
No, I agree.
Okay. So last kind of trivia question here. So the last game, like we talked about, was NCAA 14. So what were Purdue's 2 highest rated players? And the one you're not going to get. So you might not get both of them, but we'll see. One was a right tackle, so I'm not expecting you to get that. Trevor Foy was our highest rated player, 92 overall in NCAA 14. Who was our second highest rated player in NCAA 4? So on Purdue's 2013 team, I'll even let you look up the team if you want to look up the team name.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm looking up the roster.
Our guy Chuck Torwuzo was on that team.
Chuck T.
Chuck T.
Oh, that's right. He was, wasn't he?
Danny Anthrop, part of the first family of Purdue football, or one of them.
Basketball.
And basketball.
Really, the first family of Purdue sportsmen.
Purdue athletics. Raheem Mostert was on that team.
Ooh, Raheem's got it's got to be Raheem, right?
Oh no, because he wasn't. Remember, he didn't really perform. This was you got to remember this.
That's true.
This is the Hazel era. He didn't exactly use the talent the right way. So
I try to forget the Hazel era.
The only hint I'll give you is this guy did have a sibling on the team as well.
So it's an Anthrop.
Nope. No, on the team, that roster.
Oh man.
Named Landon Feichter. Ring a bell?
Yeah.
Strong safety, Landon Feichter. So he was 88 overall. Those are the only 2 guys we had that were 88 overall.
Really? I would not.
Guys like Ricardo Allen, had a little bit of a career. Anthony Brown played for my Cowboys for a little bit.
See,
right?
but that's the thing. You look at these Hazel era teams, and I've talked to Jason King about this, who was on those teams as an offensive lineman. They had some dogs.
He's on my list.
Jordan Roos was on those teams. Golly, man,
Danny Easy Chukwu. That was one of my. That's part of the. I can't even say his name, but that's part of the All Purdue name team.
Yeah, Easy Chukwu. The Hazel wasted a lot of damn talent.
Danny Etling, Austin Appleby, guys that went on to start for SEC programs.
They played each other with Florida and LSU.
How crazy is that?
That's
Rob
wild.
Henry, right? The guy that
Rob Henry,
quarterback to safety.
Wait, was Rob Marv? Is he around there? Is he earlier?
No, he wasn't on this roster. I think he was a little bit earlier than that. He was a Hope era because I went to a Hope game.
That's right.
I remember being on the sideline for a Hope game and seeing Robert Marv in street clothes next to me.
And then he was he had the game-winning touchdown against Ohio State goal.
That was epic.
That was electric.
Epic. And then the full field sprint.
Oh, that's so good.
D'Angelo Yancey too. His last name I think we hadn't mentioned that I had on that team name. But yeah, so we're very excited. I would say get an Xbox, Cody, if you're still listening, or anybody else that's listening that wants to play with some of the BXP guys. It sounds like pretty much all of the BXP guys that are going to be playing are going to be playing on Xbox. So
I think we're all going. I haven't heard a guy say they're not going to.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be selling some of my disc golf discs or apparel or something to try to raise some funds for this thing. It's $400, man. That's a chunk of change.
Hey, dude, that's not cheap. Nothing's cheap, but like that ain't cheap.
Well, and then you're talking about $500 all in once you get the game too. So
and a controller. Do they come with controllers?
Well, they come with controllers now. It's just voice activated. You just got to shout at it.
Throw. X B. Joke.
It's gonna be an interesting stream. Like we're not gonna get many watches on
both of us yelling. That's what it'll be, anyways. Both of us yelling. Either way, there will be hollering.
Man, we lost Cody, and then we got no more comments. Man, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's been a while. We did have 50 viewers on the Twitter on the X.
There we go. It's off season. We're just trying to get something out to y'all. Hopefully, you enjoyed it and got something out of it. At least you got to look at the depth chart. If you don't want to listen to us, you got to see it.
You got to look at us.
You got to see the new logo. You got to see that bearded man to my left there.
Beard baby. I think I do think we're gonna make stickers with the new logo. I at least want to.
Let's go. And some hats, man. I want to get some hats, some shirts.
If
nothing else, we can wear it to some games this year.
No, we definitely need to make some shirts and stuff. give them to the friends of the program, because I don't think we're at the point where people want to buy our stuff. But
hey, the good thing is they can go to Martin Vintage and use code BXP at checkout and get 10% off their stuff.
oh, nailed it,
Boom.
Russ! Did you take a nap before the pod?
Hey, you know what? I actually did. Yes.
Yeah, me too. I think it's
I actually did.
I
Late
took a
afternoon
power nap.
nap. Feel nice and refreshed. And I'm off tomorrow, so
Ooh,
I'm really good, man. I'm really good.
look at you.
Check out too, guys, if you want some more Purdue content. There is other stuff out there Purdue wise. We're good friends with the guys over at the BS crew. But check out too the College Huddle. Is doing some great stuff with the Big Ten Huddle. I'm on there. Chris has been over there.
I'm in the
Dylan's
comments.
always in the comments over there. So if you want to see some back and forth, even when I've been over there, we're going back and forth. You see some Purdue on Purdue crime there.
Oh, I talk so. I love Russ. People, I don't know if people know. I love Russ. Russ and I are homies. I just love giving him shit because it's one.
It's great. Hey, and JR loves it too. He's like, no, man, this is good. It's good.
My favorite thing is making a comment and watching JR see it for the first time.
Hey, if you want to see the best part, you got to go check like 2 or 3 shows ago when Dylan sent JR a graphic and came out of the intro video with a nice little old man face.
Because we had tried to do that like a couple times and he kept forgetting. So when you were delaying the podcast, I texted him and I texted him the photo and I said, "Put this on Russ. Put this on Russ."
And he came through. He did.
JR's
good over there. Kent's good over there. Zach's on the football side of things. He runs a show called Big Ten Football Talk.
What's his last name? It's fun to say. Guggenheim.
Yeah. I'll be talking to him tomorrow night. It might not air tomorrow night. You might see it like early next week, but they're going to do a state of the Purdue program. So I'm going to try to do us proud and do the Boiler Express guys proud. He's just going through the whole Big Ten, doing a state of the program. What's the last 25 years look like? What the expectations are moving forward. And I'm pretty optimistic. So you're going to see some optimistic stuff. So if you don't, you want to be negative, don't watch. But yeah, it's going to be good stuff. Good stuff. Go check out Blitzboards too. I won't plug our basketball sponsor being off season, but check out Blitzboards at Cincy Blitzboards on Twitter or on X. Great designs over there. Great.
Ooh, we need one with the new logo. I need to text them.
Oh, that's true. Get on it. Get them hand delivered for you too, because you're the closest guy to them.
They do.
But they do great work. They're very responsive. They send them like they're sending gold from Fort Knox, so it's not going to get damaged. You don't have to worry about that.
I got one for my brother for his birthday, and it took him a solid 15 minutes to get it.
Bro, for real. Like they take pride in their work to the point that they don't want that thing getting dinged at all on the way to you.
And it's not going to. You could throw that thing could fall off the USPS truck, get ran over, and then get hit with a bomb, and it would be completely fine.
And they will do pretty much anything. They'll do pretty much anything.
They haven't gotten a cease and desist yet, so it's free
you want your favorite beer on there. You want whatever team on there. You want multiple teams on there. You want hashtag Russ is old, hashtag Dylan loves horses, whatever. You can put it on there. They will work on you with the design, and they're very responsive, like I said. So
and then shout out to my guy CJ Poppin for sending me the Plaster Penguin sweater. His club men's team. They're really good too. Not only they play, but they're really good. Yeah, shout out to them for sending your boy another sweater. The double threes are everywhere.
I see 4 threes. It's like 333. So you got a little like telephone number in the background there.
Trace 333.
Watch your threes, not Trace threes.
Shit.
Trace, maybe.
I'm just cold-blooded American. I don't know no better.
You got anything else for us before we get out of here, Dylan?
No, man, I'm all good. Happy to be back behind the microphone. Hopefully we can get the crew together next week.
Yeah, we stumbled through an hour and 15 minutes of content, man. Good job.
Look at us. Good. Look at us carrying this podcast on our backs. Gosh.
We got it.
It's hard being the most handsome and part of this podcast, but we're doing it.
We'll get one of the guys on the Twitter to plug some of that other stuff that's going on with us. Stay tuned. We are going to try to get into some previews of our upcoming games in the fall, and kind of get with guys that are with those programs, because with the College Huddle, we got connections with guys with Oregon State, with any team that we're playing pretty much. So we'll get some good content for those too. So check it out. We'll try to get back on the Tuesday night schedule, but until then, boiler up, hammer down, and what's Dylan's phrase?
Boilers by a billion. Boiler up.